There's an old saying: when there's blood on the streets, buy property. What does that have to do with today's episode? Stay tuned, and I'll let you know. But for the time being, we're experiencing a time in our lives that most of us have never seen. Of course, we read and heard stories about the attacks on cities during World War II. We heard about the Cold War and the fear that left in a lot of our relatives, our mothers, our grandparents, where they were taught to hide in their desks. We lived through the swine flu scare, West Nile virus. But this war we fighting now is different than World War I, World War II. Why is it different? Well, because there's no soldiers to lay their lives on the line to protect us. There's no sitting at a table and negotiating the peace treaty. This is an airborne attack. This airborne attack is not missiles falling, raining from the sky. Not troops parachuting down into cities looking to take over. This airborne attack is attacking us individually, our immune system, our bodies. Also attacking our economics, our households, our relationships, how we deal and live every single day. Think about it, people. You go out right now, go to the mall, go to stores, you'll find a note on the store door where stores are closing due to the coronavirus. You go in shelves trying to buy the essential things that you use every single day, such as toilet paper. Shelves are empty. You want to get some hand sanitizer, disinfectant. Stores are all out with no answer for when those shelves can be refilled. Think about how schools in 19 states are closing right now. NBA canceling its season until further notice. NCAA canceled March Madness. Soccer games. Baseball getting postponed. NFL, which is way out, is thinking about postponing its season. Think about how our everyday lives are being interrupted. Then think about what we have to do to fight back as we experience World War C. We're the new soldiers now, aren't we? Because not only are we fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for our families, we're fighting for our lives, our own body. We can't call up the National Guard, tell them load their rifles, fire shots at this new virus that's attacking us. Nah. We got to resort back to what we was taught as children. Remember what you was taught as children? I often talk about what we was raised and things we teach our children and certain things. And there's a reason, it's an important reason for it, and we're going to express it right now. The reason I talk about it. Because see, that's a very important part of our lives to teach us the essential needs of survival. And though it seems simple, a survival tactic that only can win this war is simple things that we were taught, like wash your hands. Use hand sanitizer. Respect people's personal space. When you sneeze, cover your sneeze. When you cough, cover your cough. It's told that you need at least keep 6 feet between people in order to not attract the virus. To be careful what you're touching. Wash your hands as much as possible. But see, people don't do that. You got people that go to the bathroom. They do their number 2 and walk out and just continue on their lives with no thought. Not understanding, even though you use toilet paper, you still got fecal matter on your hands that you're spreading on that doorknob to everybody else. Sounds disgusting, but it's true. People go use the bathroom, they do number 1, they think, just because they did a little tinkle, they didn't get nothing on their hands, but you're touching things, and people who did, women, when you're wiping yourself, you get that little, urination on your hands, you touch stuff now, you spreading. Same with the coronavirus, but see, this is different. This is different. Because this is starting to cause a pandemic, not only in the United States, not only in China, but around the world. This is World War C. But some of us, a lot of us feel like, is this something steered up by a government to cause us fear? But why would they steer up something like this? Why would they cause the stock markets to become so erratic? To cause the economic system, and not only this country, but the world, to become so unstable? Could they be that deceiving to create this? Is this a ploy of the media to get us all riled up in fear? Because then, think about it, us as people, we need something to fear, correct? I mean, think about it in your everyday life. You need something to fear. Some of us create opportunities and create things to become fearful of, because if we're not living in fear, then it's like we can't picture our lives just going on. But is this a government ploy? I mean, has the government ever did anything like this? Have they ever dabbled in chemical warfare, create diseases? Well, we talk about World War One, whereas mustard gas and all kinds of chemicals used to end trench war. How about we go back to World War Two, when the Soviet Union used disease-ridden rats to fight against the Germans at Stalingrad? But y'all not interested in history. Y'all not interested in that. Nah. You're not interested in the fact that there was human experiments by the government against regular, everyday citizens. Not in a laboratory where you might think maybe they were like kidnapping people in a laboratory, like a James Bond movie, and creating these diseases and injecting in people. No, it wasn't like that. This is declassified information that you can look up yourself. But government officials create these diseases and these sicknesses, go into the subway, drop a little vial into the air. Little sicknesses that cause people to create these viruses and things. This is all fact. Just to see how people's bodies will react to it. But we're not going to go there because we don't do conspiracy theory, right? Is this a conspiracy theory to cause these stock markets to go erratically, come unstable, so that they can make more money? Because think about it, they come unstable. You got the Dow Jones dropping 2,000 points in one day. And you wonder, maybe this is a way for the rich to get richer, because while everybody else is panicking, selling off stocks, this gives them an opportunity to buy stocks low, because we all know the Dow Jones and all these stocks are going to go right back up. So maybe this is just a panic to cause us to go out here and react to a situation that maybe not be that serious. Or maybe this sickness and this virus is worse than we can imagine, and that they're letting on. I mean, think about it. In 19 states, they're closing schools. Businesses around the country are closing. Walmart has shifted their hours to close. They have shortened their hours. Major retailers are shortening their hours. It's becoming a situation where we living in a place we only thought we'd seen in movies. I mean, of course, we've seen in World War Z, when there was a zombie apocalypse and a sickness that was turning people zombies, you got people running around going crazy, fighting over essentials in supermarkets. But isn't that the way it is now? When we're looking on social media, we're looking on World Star, we look on Facebook, Instagram, is that we're seeing people fighting over toilet paper, which is interesting all in itself, because I went into the supermarket and I wanted to just go do my regular food shop, and I just found something very interesting, and I want some of you guys to answer me on this and help me out with this, because I'm finding this very puzzling. Because we talk about good hygiene and stuff. And you cannot find any toilet paper, even on Amazon. Look, can't find toilet paper, but I'm seeing shelves half stocked with boxes of tissues that you use to cover your nose, wipe your sneeze, your snot and stuff. Dig out boogies. You know what you use tissue for. I ain't got to explain that to you. I had no problem finding some hand soap. The hand sanitizer and toilet paper is the main thing that's going on. So what are y'all doing with this toilet paper? Then I start thinking, like, maybe it's the virus. Maybe the virus symptoms cause people to have diarrhea, and that's why they're going out buying all toilet paper, and they don't really worry about tissues, because maybe the virus attacks your stomach and make you have diarrhea. But then I start reading up on the symptoms of the coronavirus. Here's the symptoms. Cause of headaches, body aches, dry cough, runny nose, fever. In extreme cases, it causes exhaustion and shortness of breath in extreme cases. Only in a rare 2 cases it's reported that has caused diarrhea. So why are you going out buying a bunch of toilet paper? Then the response from you would be, well, it's because we don't know how long we're going to be sitting home, or we're stuck home, so we need to make sure we got toilet paper in case we don't want to run out of toilet paper. It don't matter if we run out of water, because there's plenty of water. Don't matter if we run out of water, don't matter if we run out of food, but Lord Jesus, please don't allow us to run out of toilet paper. And people are fighting over toilet paper. People are price gouging right now. People are buying up essential things we need and now trying to sell them for higher prices, astronomical prices, to a point that governments have to now sign into law no more price gouging. This is something that we've never seen before. Don't get fooled, people. Don't be fooled for a second. This is not fear tactics. This is not to make you scared and stare up and jump on an opportunity of immediate craze. Don't be fooled by what you're seeing. This is World War C that we're experiencing. And it's featuring the coronavirus. Little things we can do by washing our hands seem like such a small thing. Prepping our kids, teaching them how to practice good hygiene, practice space. I know we like to shake hands, we like to hit people, high five, hug people we haven't seen in a while, relatives, loved ones. But here's a time that we have to learn to respect people's space and make sure people learn our space. Learn new tactics to greet people and show love. Hit them with the elbow. Use your feet like kid and play. Use new tactics to promote respect and love to people. New ways to say hi from a distance. Give them the wave. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, in this world, in this war that we fight now, World War C, there is no soldiers that can help us. We're looking for the government to protect us, but how can they protect us? When their own president had to get tested. When other top officials had to get tested. This virus is not looking at us and saying, well, if you're of a certain class, of a certain financial class, then I'm not going to bother you. It's not looking at you saying, because you got a certain job or a certain race, I'm not going to bother you. It's not looking at you saying, because you're a certain religion, that's not going to bother you. This virus, unlike us and unlike actions that we portray every single day, it's not discriminating, people. It's not discriminating against anybody. It's not picking and choosing who it wants to infect and who it doesn't. It's not. This is like a war that we've never seen before. I mean, normally when we have wars, we can sit here and we can justify and understand in some way, even though it doesn't make it okay, we can justify why this is happening. And we can figure out a strategy and a plan to figure out a way to defeat it. But it seems like we're getting to a point where, are we too late? Is there anything we can do outside of trying to protect ourselves? To buckle down at home and hope this thing just does like the swine flu, like other flus and other diseases and viruses that we affect, eventually just fade away like smoke in the air? I mean, we all are pissed off at the government right now for their handling of it, for some of the decisions they made, closing down important centers, closing down important disease centers that would possibly help us get ahead of it, not taking responsible enough, not creating travel restrictions soon enough, criticizing certain jobs, but not having putting their employees' health over top of their bottom line. But then again, why would they? I mean, think about it. Think about it for a second, people. Do we put our money, or do we put a high number on our lives ourselves? Think about that for a second. Life is cheap. When you think about people getting murdering each other for hundreds of bucks and a couple $100, and the way we treat ourselves and the way we choose to accept payment for our services and our time, you got to think about it. If we put such a low standard, low number on our lives, then why wouldn't they? If we're sitting here thinking that jobs are going to actually care more about our health and their bottom line, then we're fooling ourselves. This is why I said before, the only person that's going to fight this war and win this war is you. You are now a soldier in the war. In the war not only to protect the country or your world, but yourselves. This is a world epidemic, and you think that this is just a United States issue. It's not. Spain has reported, and the Washington Post has reported, that Spain has found that they have 2,000 new cases of coronavirus in 24 hours. Did you hear what I just said? Spain reported they have 2,000 new cases of the coronavirus in 24 hours. UK, China, all these places, Europe nations, Asian nations, everybody is creating travel restrictions. People who are trying to enter back into the United States are being affected by this because now they're dealing with long lines because they have to go through screening processes. The virus doesn't show up in your system between 2 and 5 days, so you could be walking around with the virus in your system right now, spreading it to your whole entire family, spreading it to your coworkers, to your school, to your neighbors, and you don't even know it. By the time you realize that you have the virus in your system, it's too late. It's a scary time that we live in, people. And usually I'm trying to be the beacon of hope, try to give you some kind of solution like, hey, this right here, if you do this and do that, and we have all these different plans that we put in motion, that things will be better, that things will be all right. This is one time we have to truly call on ourselves. We got to look at ourselves and say that we have to put ourselves on the front line to fight back against the virus. This is one time where, when you hear in the Bible it says, love thy neighbor, we have to truly love thy neighbor and respect thy neighbor by trying to take care of ourselves and make sure we're practicing great hygiene in order to protect our neighbor, to love our neighbor and make sure that we don't spread it to our neighbor or anybody else, protect our children in a way that we never had before. It's amazing when you go to stores now, they're putting limits on things like you only can buy 2 cases of water. Now I understand that people are trying to prepare to be stuck in home for 2 weeks, months. When you hear the NBA canceling their season, it's scary. It's scary on multiple different reasons because now you also lose distraction from this virus that's causing so much panic and disruption to your life. You lose the distraction because now when you turn on ESPN, all you hear about is coronavirus. When you turn on the news, all you hear about is coronavirus. There's no way to escape it. And it's hard to not believe that government officials haven't created this. We hope this is not true, but we don't have no understanding or we don't have proof that it's not. The only proof we can say is, hey, you don't fire a gun or have somebody fire a gun into a car when you can become a victim or be hit. And when you're looking at the president who is possibly affected and possibly almost came in contact or did come in contact with the virus, you got to think that he's not that reckless and the government's not that reckless to put themselves in danger as well. So maybe this is not something a conspiracy theory. Maybe it was man-made and just got out of control, but maybe it's a lesson that we can learn from it. That we need to stop playing God and know our roles. As a person like to say, a person close to me like to say, we got to stay in our lane. But we also have to understand we have to practice good health, practice good hygiene. It's a time we need to pray, people. Because we literally are in a fight for our lives. We look at it, we look at the news, and we look at all this stuff, and then we try to create things like, oh, they're just trying to create so much false news, and what do I pay attention to, what I listen to? First of all, you need to stop reading memes like it's true. Listen, people, memes are meant to be funny, make crack jokes, and make light of situations. We can't look at the memes as if they're actual news. The actual news that research and verify things. Memes are not that. Memes are made up mostly by people who are sitting in their house with nothing to do and just sitting on the keyboard creating these things. We also have to understand that it's important to teach not only our children, but important to teach ourselves that we need to practice good hygiene. Even when World War C is over and we become the victors and we move on with our regular lives, we got to take from this the importance of our health, our hygiene. Start thinking about all the other things that's killing us every single day that we don't pay attention to. Think about how many people are dying from diabetes. Think about how many people are dying from cancer. Think about how many people are dying from these other diseases and these sicknesses that we take for granted every single day, and all the changes that we need to make besides taking care of our hygiene in our lives to make sure that we live a longer, stronger, healthier life. This is an opportunity for us to grow. This is an opportunity for us to come out of this better and stronger than before. This is nothing more than a test to test our ability. Test our ability to change and grow and to become stronger, to make sure that we don't walk from this as a defeated people. This is an aha moment where we realize that we're not safe because I live in a big house with the high walls, or because you got a nice car, you got a certain amount of money, or because you're part of a certain religious group. It doesn't matter. Concerts are being shut down. Church services are being shut down. Place you go to pray. Place you feel like you need to be during World War C is not even safe no more. Think about it. In regular wars, certain places are off limits. Shouldn't bomb churches. Historical sites shouldn't be interrupted at all. But in this war, anything goes. Anything goes. And we are on the front lines to fight back. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to protect your family? What are you going to do to love thy neighbor and protect your neighbors, and most importantly, protect yourself? Because this is one situation that we can't look at. We can look at homelessness. We can look at racism. We look at the police brutality and all these other issues and say, well, it doesn't affect me. But this is one time where we can't look at something and say, well, this doesn't affect us. Because like I said, this is not a nation issue. This is not a simple city, state issue. This is a global issue right here. Don't be fooled, people. We call it World War C because this is something that's affecting the world. Like I said, Spain had 2,000 more cases. Other countries France is shutting down stores, restaurants, museums. They're shutting down everything. States are creating travel bans. Countries are creating travel bans. This is not a game. This is as real as it gets. So when you're on the front line of World War C, what I got left to say, y'all, as we get ready to end this episode is, I'm saying my prayers to everybody that you stay healthy, that you stay safe, that you take the proper precautions to not put yourself in positions where you are in danger of attracting this virus. Don't put yourself in situations. If you feel symptoms, find the testing site. They're popping up. They're trying to build. The government is working really hard to create new testing sites for us to get tested if you have symptoms. If you don't have the symptoms, like I said to you before, if you're not, you don't know what the symptoms are. You don't know where to find them. Let me just tell you real quick what some of the symptoms are: having a fever, a dry cough, runny nose. You're feeling fatigue, shortness of breath in severe cases. If you're feeling these symptoms, they're basically flu-like symptoms. If you're feeling flu-like symptoms, then you should probably go get tested. But understand the difference between flu-like symptoms and having a common cold or your allergies. Just be cautious. Disinfect whenever you can. Wash your hands as much as you possibly can. Be respectful not only to yourself, but to others. Don't get confused, people. You're on the front line of a battle that's much bigger than you and me. This is not a me problem or a you problem. This is a world issue, a world pandemic. And there's no one that can come and save you. So we got to save ourselves from ourselves. I hope that you stay safe. Hope that you stay strong. Most importantly, hope that you stay healthy as we continue through this. I want to thank you for joining Past and Present Podcast. I'm your host, Alan the Great. I only got one thing left to say, y'all. Stay healthy. Peace.